Bum, 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 bum. Here we are, case study number 3. Today we're going to take a look at 3D studio art. So this work is three-dimensional, but everything still grades the same way. So we're going to look at the work, and we're going to look at the statement that the artist used, and then we're going to look at what scores she got. So let's begin. First of all, this is the student's written evidence. Now bear with me. My body of work explores emotional allegory to the intimacy of a landscape. In these textual paintings, that's important. They're textual paintings. She's going to make paintings out of fabric. Then you can read the rest here. She memorialized the tense and duplicitous qualities of youth and transitions through a literal dissection of space. Yes, that's right. By manipulating my drawings, patterns, and paintings, like my use of, but I don't even know what she's saying. I think she might have been trying a little too hard. I'm going to tell you straight out, it's going to work, but she could have been much straightforward. Don't be this fluffy. Be straight, be honest, let them know what you're doing. That's important. But don't use words like duplicitous. It's too hard to say. Duplicitous. It sounds like a dinosaur. I like the T-Rex and the Duplicitosaurus. Okay, moving on. Here's her work. So you can see here that it is three-dimensional. It is hanging from the ceiling, and it is fabric, and you could walk around and look at it. And of course, again, she is trying to use materials and fabrics to reproduce landscapes and also show her youth and something else. I can't remember. The duplicitous dinosaur. Let's look at some more. Here, the same piece, I believe, close up. So she's got detail works of it, which is important with 3D and can be important in your work too. If you have a piece of artwork that really needs to have a close-up shot, you can include 2 photographs of it, or like this, where she did 4 of them together to show the textures. She wanted to show what was going on, and I think it was important and a smart move on her part. Here's another one hanging from the ceiling. Again, close-ups, details on the right is of, if you look at the picture on the left, you can see the white fabric on the bottom, and then there's a piece of fabric up towards the ceiling, and I believe that picture on the right is a close-up of that fabric there, so you can see what was going on. Now she's starting with these pieces hanging from the ceiling, and she's kind of experimenting with her processes and trying different things, which is good. This is really nice, because now she shows her sketch. And one of the things she does talk about later on, which we'll see when we look at some more of the written evidence, is that she says how I started with my drawings and I translated them to these 3D landscapes. And then so she had to put a process photograph in here. Here's her sketchbook, drawing what she was going to do, and then showing the finished product of how she actually did it. That is smart. All right. Now she's moved on. She's experimenting in a different way. She's hung these pieces on the wall. So instead of hanging from the ceiling, she's moved on to the wall. And I actually like this piece better. I think it's neat the way the texture bumps up. I like the way the colors are bunched up on the left and it goes out to the white on the other side. But that's my personal opinion. Again, she shows close-ups and she shows it from 2 different angles because it is three-dimensional. So it is supposed to be seen from different angles. So that's why that's important. She took these photographs. And then here's a close-up of another one. Well, I guess it's showing the whole work. You can get the size of it too, because you can see the electrical outlets on the bottom. You can see the strings hanging down. And then she showed this one, which I really liked, because it showed, again, her process, her thinking in her sketchbook, how she was going to pick out the different materials, and then her actually hanging it up, which is part of the process. So smart photographs, I think. So that's her body of work. And also this gives you an idea of the scale of it with her being in the picture. We don't know how tall she is, but we can get an idea. It's probably life-size artwork she's making. All right, let's see what she got. Now, remember, there are 4 sections. So number 1 is row A, inquiry. She got a score of a 3. Remember, 3 is good. I like this work. I think she might have done better than a 3 personally, but she got a 3, which is great. She didn't get a cake, but she got a 3. What is inquiry? That's the written evidence identifies an inquiry that guides sustained investigation. So she had written something and it said what her question was, and then she did it. And she showed visual evidence that demonstrated that sustained investigation. This is basically what you're doing. You're writing a question and you're making artwork that is based on your question. And then they just go on to explain that she did accomplish that here. But if you go down to the bottom there, when viewing the portfolio, it becomes obvious that these sculptural works are indeed composed of drawings, patterns, and paintings. So she did what she said she was going to do. And so she got a score of a 3. Great. 2, practice, experimentation, and revision. Now, we talked about this one being really important. She got a score of 3 on this as well. And of course, that is the visual evidence that when you present your art, it shows that you practiced, experimented, and revised. And also, when you do the written, you're going to explain that you did that. So you're going to write how you experimented, you're going to write how you practiced, and you write how you revised things, and then your artwork is going to demonstrate that. So that's important. And if we see here, she did experiment, and it is evident that she practiced and she did revise. Bullet number 4 there. Revision of the artist's approach to creating this work can be seen in the sculpture shifts between the suspension to the creation of the armatures. So basically they're saying, look, she changed her work up, she experimented. It was hanging from the ceiling and now it's posted on the wall. And on the bottom one, it is obvious the artwork presented is guided by the student's practice, experimentation, and revision. So they believe that was true. Moving on to row C, materials, process, ideas. A score of 3 again. 3 still good. And pretty short and sweet and to the point. This is just saying there was visual relationship between the materials, the process, and the ideas. So basically, again, what she said she was going to do and how she worked the materials shows in her work. And that says it on the bottom. This process is employed effectively to create a cohesive body. So all the works look the same, have the same style, but they're all different. So this is the balance. You want to be able to make your work all look like it belongs together, but it shouldn't all look the same. I know that doesn't make sense, but it has to. Her work looks like it goes together. Some pieces hang from the ceiling, some pieces were on the wall, some pieces were different fabrics, different dyes, different pens. She changed it up, she made it different, but it all looks like it goes together. And that's what they're talking about here. And lastly but not least is skills. And you know what skills are, either you got the skills or you don't. And here they say her skills were adequate. She got a 3. So she knew how to sew, I guess. She knew how to hang stuff on the wall. So she got a score of 3. So overall, would have been a score of 3. Great, she passed. Congratulations to her. I like her work, think it's pretty interesting, and she got her done. So that's 3D work, and that's it for today. All right, over and out.